In this video, I unbox this Waterbox Peninsula Mini, I build a stand for it, and then fully set it up in my son's room. And his reaction is awesome.
What? Take your Bazzy out.
Quick note before we get started, this channel is extremely new and I'm attempting to post something every week, which is not easy. If you like the content at all, it helps a ton if you consider liking and subscribing and also hitting that notification bell so you can get notified every single time I post something new. Thanks. Welcome back to IC Live. My name is Mark. So today I'm setting up this Waterbox Peninsula Mini. I still have livestock from the 25-gallon cube that sprung a leak, and I actually took that down. So I had to get another tank to go ahead and put that stuff into because the Fluval Evo 13.5 that I recently set up can only fit so much. I am going to be setting up several more nano tanks as I kind of love the smaller systems, and I'm not a big fan of huge, large, overblown systems because I like them to be kind of agile and mobile. I can pack them up and move them around really quickly. Alright, so let's get to unboxing the Waterbox Peninsula Mini. So in the box we have the tank, we have a pump along with some filter medium, so there's a filter sock, a sponge, some carbon. Last we have some plumbing fittings and some tubing. No heater or light. Now I do have an AI Prime laying around, so that's what I'm going to be using on this tank. And when I compare this with the Fluval that I just opened, my first impression is I love the size of it, and it's definitely a higher quality tank considering the back filter section is all glass, including all of the baffles. And on the Fluval Evo 13.5, those are all plastic. So definitely a better quality tank. Now this is a little piece of acrylic to hold the filter sock. And here is the filter sock. This is what goes in the first section of the overflow chamber on the all-in-one. The second chamber houses carbon along with a sponge. Not sure how good this carbon is going to be. It's super chunky, but we'll give it a try. Here is the pump. It's pretty standard. I actually forgot to look what brand it is, and now it's in the tank, so I don't even remember. But the tubing is already cut to size, so I just grabbed the plumbing fittings for the bulkhead and then screw in the nozzle, and it is all ready to go. I dunk the active carbon in some RO water to kind of clean it up and get it ready. Then I put that into the rear chamber. That goes in the second chamber with the sponge. Last, I'm going to go ahead and add in some high capacity ceramic. I've had these cubes sitting in the 25-gallon mixed reef, and I knew that I was going to be setting up some other tanks, so I was just letting them colonize bacteria so I can jumpstart any tank that I want to get going. With the tank set up, it's time to get started on the stand, and like usual, this one starts with a drawing. So I didn't record the drawings, but I will talk you through it. First, I did some detailed measurements of the tank so I could make a reference model, and then I started drawing some stands. So this aquarium is going to go into my son's room, and it's important that the stand is also functional. So I actually designed the stand to also be a bookshelf. Made a whole grip of variations of it, liked some, hated some other ones. Ultimately, I landed on one and got started in Fusion 360. And this is the final design. So it was a bunch of rectangle extrusions. It took a few hours to figure everything out. There's some slightly more complex parts. So this stand is both obviously a fish tank stand, but also the front area is a bookshelf. And then this rear section, this is going to house all of the electronics and eventually an auto top-off system or possibly some additional filtration. But because it's in my son's room and my son's only 3, I wanted to make sure that I could house things inside the stand that he could never get to. So this slider actually has a locking mechanism on it. This little 3D printed part right here, this magnetically locks in, and these notches keep the sliders from being able to move. So unless my son understands how to unlock the rear section, he will be unable to get to the electronics and everything I don't want him to touch. And the front section is working as an amazing bookshelf right next to his bed. So I love it. All right, now it is time to go ahead and start cutting this stand out.
Seconds later.
all assembled and sprayed, I used the off-white stain that I used on the fluval tank, so the exact same one. I really like how it looks. I have just a few things left to do. I've got to print out the accent parts for the cord management and the door keys, and then I have to cut and slot the doors out so those are ready to go in.
Tomorrow for sure.
So I scanned the live rock and 3D printed out this base for it so I can get that floating look everybody's so in love with, including myself. It turns out awesome, and I am going to be making a follow-up video. So my next video will be about how I made this scape. It is different than the one I made for the fluval, but follows a similar process. Alright, so with everything complete, the tank is ready for installation, and this is my son's room. As you can see, we are obsessed with octopus, and he has a fish/boat themed room, and that is where the tank's going.
One hour later.
So that wraps up the tank build. Now it's time to show it to my son and see what he thinks.
What? Take your bassy out.
What's that?
We can't hear you.
What do you want to put in there?
Nemo.
Nemo, I can't hear you. Take your passy out. So I wish I had a better reveal for you, but that's basically the only video I have of that day. And now it's time for the tank to cycle. So this is actually what you're looking at right now. These are coral shots of the tank, but I took these just recently because the tank had about 2 months before I could put anything in it. So I do have a lot more work to do before I can actually show the finished version of this tank. And I have several more videos associated with it coming. So one would be the tank reveal, adding coral, adding fish. Also, if you noticed in this render, I've got a few upgrades that I've created for it, including a light arm for the AI Prime and some filtration stuff. So if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you live in the next video. Hey, do you want to go show everybody your Marlin and Nemo? Where are they?
Who?
Marlin and Nemo, where are they? Let's go show everybody.
They're floating right now.
Yeah, is that what they're doing?
Yeah. Here they are.
Oh.